has finally Well, the World Economic Forum has finally admitted what we've been saying here on the show. The US dollar is about to change forever. That's right. We knew that CBDCs were rolling out central bank digital currencies, but this week we heard directly from Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum that in fact 98% of central banks are preparing to launch CBDCs. Again, this right from the mouth of the World Economic Forum. After all, this is their plan. They've wanted to take away control of the monetary system, get it out of the hands of individual sovereign governments, individuals, and put it in the hands of Wall Street and larger banks. Now, when you have to understand the central bank structure in the United States, it's controlled by Wall Street. This is the goal, is to allow those big multinationals to control the money supply, get it out of the hands of the U.S. Treasury. Take that power away from Janet Yellen and the U.S. Treasury. Take it away from individual governments. Put it in the hands of a few massively large banks. And this all comes on the same week that we also saw more bank collapses in the United States, more seizures of banks, and massive amounts of U.S. deposits drying up in banks. See how this happens? All of these smaller banks get gobbled up by the big guys. So the J.P. Morgans, you have the Wells Fargos, bank.
All right, Shalom. And I want to correct him because the Federal Reserve is owned by the international banking families, starting at the Rothschild family, even the ones that you don't hear about, right? The J.P. Morgans, the Rockefellers, right? Them some of the more common, names, and even the names that you don't hear about. They control the so-called dollar, right? There's nothing backing up the dollar. The dollar was taken off the gold standard in 1971 by Richard Nixon. And that's facts, right? So essentially what you have today is monopoly money. No lie. Look it up. So what bags up the United States dollar is the military, right? So they have something that they call economic hitman. I advise you, brothers and sisters, to find it. Matter of fact, I'll post that documentary, and it's a must watch. And probably my next lesson, I'll post the link. I'll give you the direct, the link to get to it, right? So that's who controls the so-called money system, right? So, and they control pretty much the whole financial system of the world. There'll be Esau having dominion, the so-called white man over the earth, as it was prophesied in the book of 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, right? Let's get more into this.
Of America, you have Deutsche Bank, and these few massive large banks control the entire process. So let's go through what the World Economic Forum is saying here, which is startling, but we knew this was coming. So get ready, guys, to have like no cash anymore. Get ready to have a digital ID, a digital wallet that will control everything. Now, I know some of you might be saying, that's fake news. Well, frankly, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been studying and tracking this for a very long time. I point you to my deep dive interviews here with Whitney Webb, who's one of the foremost authorities.
And they're getting everybody ready for the Motb, right? It's going to catch these people off guard because these Americans are completely into their folly. And what I mean with that, they're too busy with entertainment. They're too busy working. They're too busy trying to get overtime. They're too busy, going to weddings. They're too busy planning for the weekend. They're too busy planning, for vacation for the summer. They're too busy with the affairs of this world to focus on what's coming, right? And you tell most of these knuckleheads what's coming, they'll call it a conspiracy theory. That's how stupid and dumbed down the people is.
On tracking all of the structure of these CBDCs, and it's startling. The control is coming, guys. I mean, think about their ability to track everything you're doing through a digital ID on your phone. Okay, they'll be able to watch your carbon footprint. Oh, you've traveled too much this month, so no, you are not allowed to buy gasoline anymore for this month until the calendar resets for the month because you've driven to see grandma too many times, or you've been on the road too much, or you've flown too much, or you've bought too much meat, right? This is the ridiculousness that we're currently facing right now, but they'll be able to track every transaction. And of course, they want everything then tied to the blockchain. This is the tokenization of every asset, farmland, everything in the United States. So they will be controlling everything and watching everything. It is coming. This is the dream. Now, they've already rolled this out in Ukraine. You remember Ukraine is really a testing ground a lot of this. They rolled this out using what's known as the DIA app. Okay, DIA was an app that was built by USAID, USAID, and the United States government, and of course with the help of the World Economic Forum, to put this into a test bed process where everything can pay right with your phone in Ukraine.
And right, that's why they've been gradually working, this technology into you people lives. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got something called tap and pay, right? They're they're what they're doing is what's the word I'm looking for? Desensitizing you to the technology, the technocracy, and it's going to be linked in with the Motb, and they're going to have full control. And a lot of these, you Jakes don't really do anything. You just go along with the flow. But you're going to have some of these Edomites that's going to cause more uproars of the people, because a lot of these Edomites, some of them not going to go for it. And they're expecting resistance. You know what I'm saying? They're expecting some kind of resistance, right?
Everything. You can even rat on your neighbors. That's right, built inside the application. This is like 1984 level stuff here, guys. And we don't know how all of this is going to come together, but we do know the goal. The goal is total control. The goal is to get rid of cash. The goal is to make sure that every transaction is monitored and controlled through a central system that is all digital. So the organization that argues that wholesale CBDCs, which are restricted to large transactions between financial institutions, could address banking industry challenges related to interbank payments and securities.
And that's why we praying to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah for us to get the hell up out of here, because we know the mark of the beast must come. And then we got World War III that's cooking right now. World War III has pretty much already started, but it hasn't went nuclear. So after the Motb is, they start pushing that, you know what I'm saying? And they start, forcing people to get that, but they'll lock them out of society. You're going to have World War III World War III for its nuclear, right, is going to proceed. So we got some serious things on the table right now. So it's best to stay focused and lock into the truth, into the spirit, and stay caught up with the current events, because we know that these devils, right, they're not going to stop their agenda. These things must happen for us to get up out of here. It's prophecy. And these people are going to be totally unaware. You Americans, you like in a child like state of mind, which you just too busy trying to survive, right? And they're too busy trying to survive and trying to live a comfortable life, right? It's going to get you snared, right? But you brothers and you sisters already know what's coming down the pipe. And I want to see a lot of people face that scoff, that said we was conspiracy theorists, that said we was crazy, right? When this thing coming to fruition, right? Because our people just always at the late show. They don't believe nothing, right? They say they believe in the Bible, but they don't believe in the Bible. So, people, you know what I'm saying? Just complete madness. Let me play some more of this.
Transactions. So according to the World Economic Forum, they say that CBDCs are poised to improve our cross-border transactions. Of course, that's how they're pitching it, right? That, the amount of time that it takes for wires to happen, and I agree with this. I will agree that the process of sending wires right now is a disaster. It's like 7 or 8 different steps to confirm you're sending a transaction, then it's sending an information back, then it's going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So cross-border transactions should be dramatically improved. But is this the answer? Where we remove cash and we put it instead in the control of central banks so that we don't have a physical representation of currency anymore. We simply have a digital representation of some sort of an international world currency. The organization, the WEF, acknowledges, however, that the legal and the regulatory elements needed to make widespread CBDCs possible have an unknown time frame. So again, 98% of central banks are preparing to launch this, but you have certain states in the United States which are pushing back against this. When you have Florida, for instance, saying no CBDCs, and you're going to have other countries that are going to say no to this. So I think we're really heading for an interesting moment right now.
Yeah, that's true. And you got something called the BRICS. The BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Then you got BRICS Plus, would be like Saudi Arabia and all these other nations that's ditching the dollar. So the dollar days are numbered, right? See a lot of chaos coming down the pipe. And it's going to be things that you're going to see that you're not going to be able to believe is going on. So it's best to go ahead and prepare right now. Prepare yourself first mentally, right? Then, spiritually first, Salakia, and then prepare yourself mentally. Because we're expecting all hell to break loose, so we're not going to be caught off guard. That's the point of preparation within the mind. So you can already know what's coming. And this is on Revelation chapter 13, right? You can read the whole chapter. But you jump down to, what's that, 15, 16, right? No man that might buy or sell unless he has the charagma, right? That's the end game. So all these other people dancing, they tap dancing everywhere. They don't know they don't know the whole story. They're giving you bits and pieces, but that is the end game because it's biblical prophecy. It must happen, right? The end cannot come unless the mark of the beast, which is the micro C hip, is instituted, right? And you're not to take that. They're gonna try to, I think what they're gonna do. This is just me speaking as a man, right? They're gonna crash the dollar out. We know that's coming sooner than later. And then they're gonna bring in this digital system. We do know that's coming. And I think what they're gonna do, they're expecting for chaos to ensue, and they're gonna come in with the solution. They're gonna starve people out like they've been doing. That's why everything is so much higher. They doing a great reset. That's a part of their great reset that Jake don't take nothing serious. Jake is going TikTok and complain about them having to pay so much for their goods and services, but they're not understanding why this is going on. And when you tell them why, the ninja can't comprehend it. They have a mental, spiritual block on them. Right? Play a little bit more of this.
With our monetary policy and entering this next phase. But we've been warning you it's coming. And here we have the World Economic Forum saying 98% are preparing to launch CBDCs. We'll get back to the video in a second. But look, your money is not safe.
Well, you see what it is. I'm going to call it video on that. And I'll see you on the next one. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakak, Wadash. Shalom.